Welcome to another Kyle High Club podcast. And as per usual, I've got very special guests with me in person today. I've got Jauska and Altis from Far From Friends. Hello,
Hey,
welcome,
Hello.
friends.
thanks so much.
Thank you.
So you guys have got a emo band in 2022.
If you can believe that.
Yes. So please tell me, you guys are quite diverse with your styles and with your music taste. So just tell me a little bit about the story, how you guys got together and decided, listen, we're going to make an emo band in 2022. What was all the factors that led towards that decision?
Nice. Great,
He
great question.
was he was the initiator.
Nice. A mutual person that we know. I was speaking to her and I said, I think I want to start an emo band, you know. And I was like, but I don't know how I'm gonna do it because like I don't have any gear at that stage, and like it was only a very far away dream, I think. And then she said, but talk to Ian, talk to Jaska because he makes troll beats. And I was like, no, he doesn't. I would have known about this, but he's quite a secretive guy, especially at that stage.
He even hid his whole entire studio from
Exactly,
you.
exactly. So yeah, I found his YouTube channel and I just went through all the drill beats that he made, and I found one which was actually turned out to be "Handshakes Off for Strangers" at the end of the day.
Oh, wow.
Where that was the one that immediately I wrote the lyrics for it, and I was like, wow, this actually sounds fucking sick, you know. So I think we just took it from there, and like as time went along, we kind of, I think we're gonna go back to the 808 sound a bit more now after this album, but it ended up where we're like, we like so many kinds of music, so kind of like if we want to make a pop punk song, which we did, like we can do that,
Yeah.
with and going a little bit away from the 808 feel. But I think we're definitely gonna go back to that quite soon.
But why specifically the emo genre?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was kind of you who came to me with the concept of like, there's this whole emo revival going on right
Mm.
now. Send me a bunch of artists. I really got into it, and I was like, fuck yeah, let's definitely get in on it, like a modern take on emo music.
And I think one artist specifically, shout outs 93 Feet of Smoke, was like, I think the biggest turning point for us because I was listening a bunch of 808 emo, and then Jessica's like, but I think this is kind of the sound that we need to hone in a little bit on more. And it was 93. And we were like, and when I heard him, I still like my favorite artist to this day. And I was like, okay, I think the new direction of emo, even though like indie sound is coming back
Yeah.
quite a lot.
Indie, folk, all of those guys.
I think we're kind of technically a little bit late to the party because in 2018, like the sound was definitely more prevalent. And I think if you go to LA right now, it'll still be quite big there. But yeah, in South Africa, I don't think a lot of people are actually doing it.
What does the genre mean to you guys? I mean, if you speak to different people, everybody's got a different opinion about emo. I mean, some people listen to emo music and think the Killers are emo. Some people
Yeah.
listen to emo and think AFI is emo. What has the genre done for you guys? And I think, the impact it's made to you as individuals to actually give a modern take on your influence of the genre.
I think Ian has become a bit more emo over the last 2 years.
Well, I mean, we both grew up with emo in a sense.
Yeah.
Like, there's obviously the big nostalgia factor for us both. That's like that's easy to make. That's easy to make something that you kind of grew up with. You know the essence of that genre. Like,
Yeah.
So
a lot of, I think everybody listened to Blink at a stage.
Yeah.
And I think Blink can even be considered emo in their own way if you look at certain songs like Adam's Song or whatever.
I think it's easier to be broad now. I think it's easier to be broad in a modern day to say like like blankets, everything is emo. Where in the era itself, it was obviously more specific. But
Yeah.
now it's kind of okay. It's just blanket. Like everything was emo, pop punk. Everything was
Yeah.
pop punk.
For sure.
Basically, like throwing all metal into one genre almost,
Yeah.
between Black Death and all of those things. All of that is metal.
And
if
I
you
feel
think
like
about
there's
it.
much more acceptance now for metal, even now. Like,
For
it's
sure.
just to blanket term everything.
Yeah, there's not
Metalcore.
one of those elitist gatekeepers anymore that thinks black metal is the only metal that
Yeah.
exists. And
Yeah.
We are very big genre Nazis, though. I think that's one of the things that I always have been criticized. People tell me, like, no, you're getting too specific in subgenres. And I think Ian is the closest I've ever come to somebody that can match me in terms of genres, where even to this day we put ourselves in a kind of a rut, because at the end of the day, if you listen to like Bear With Me, for example, even I to this day don't know what the genre really is.
yeah, because it's got like a lo-fi.
And it's not lo-fi though.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I thought it was lo-fi, and then Lana played me. She's like, "This is lo-fi," like with the rain and like the drum beats. It's completely different. So I was nowhere close. And somebody said to me the other day, like, "I like the alternative rock sound." And it's
Yeah.
like, your guess is as good as mine.
I-
You're
I
complete.
listened to Bear With Me and
You're
I
wrong, but yeah.
to me, it's more bedroom pop. If you think about it.
And that was another option
That's
that
what
yeah.
I've called it as well.
Yeah, especially for tagging
I
and
also
stuff.
didn't have a genre in mind making the beat. It was just like the
Yeah.
guitar, that initial guitar melody was quite like, oh, okay, I'll just could write something over this.
For sure.
Like,
But initially, you
just-
guys didn't want to do an album
it wasn't the first plan. no.
because
the
you guys
first
just had a
plan.
couple of like 3 singles out before we decided, okay,
You know what? Initially, we made 3 songs, and then I said we had 3 listeners as well, and I think all 3 of those listeners are in this room
right now.
right now. For the longest time, we only had 3 listeners.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably us 3. And we weren't really promoting it, but I will give a shout out to Daniel Fourie from No Handshakes, when he commented on our YouTube videos, and I kind of forgot about it. I even saw the comment like maybe 3 months after you posted it, because I wasn't checking the stuff. And then I saw he's like, hey, we're also like a kind of, even though they're more 808 punk, that's what they brand themselves as. But I figured, oh shit, like, hey, maybe there is life out there, and he actually kind of inspired me again to, hey, like, let's kind of do something with this, but talking about the album, I think it happened after we released a couple of singles, and I realized like the only way to make like a real proper hype for this thing is gonna be to make an album. And I would not advise it easily, because it's suffering.
hard work.
It's so
A lot
fucking
of
hard
hard
work.
work.
And I would just say, if you want to make singles, that's all cool. But yeah, if you want to make an album, be ready to just get stuck into it for months and months and months, for sure.
What made you guys, what's your main motivation to create? Because you guys are 2 individual human beings. You don't have a full band or everything like that.
We are a
And-
full band.
Yeah, well, you're saying you guys are 2 individuals who got together and decided, we want to make something. We want to put something out in the world, something that is kind of a little bit forgotten in the world. Apart from the nostalgia factor about it, what's your main motivation where you guys sat down and said, listen, we want to put this out in the world?
What do you say, Ian? I've got my answer.
Well, I think the main thing that kept us going to make the album was that it was really fun.
For sure.
Like, we had a lot of fun.
Effortless.
Yeah, it just came natural. It was basically just
Yeah, I think that's when we
when
started.
it got good. Like
Yeah.
when it got good, it was like, yeah, let's do the album.
True,
Let's
true.
you know. It was just fun at first, and then we were like, no, actually, this could be a good project. Well, at least from my perspective. Like,
I think to give you the truth is, like, initially when we started, I figured, hey, it should be quite easy because we've got like the studio which we're in right now,
Yeah.
and I've got this guy that's able to make quite very good beats quite efficiently. So it should be easy enough for us to just push out a song every 2, 3, 4 weeks, push out a song every month. Should be quite easy. And like, I think that's how we started out, just kind of push out a song, push out a song. It's quite easy. And then that's when we had the break. And then like I was in the mountains, and then I heard
I went to my quiet place.
yeah, I went to the quiet place, and I was obsessed with the album From Me to You from Quadeca. And he spent a year in studio as well, perfecting this album. And the song Sisyphus, was specifically has like 700 layers in it, and he made it so that it's basically impossible to reproduce. And like, that song just blew me away, and I was like, fuck, this song is so good. And I was at the mountains, and then I got this revelation, like, you know what, let's, instead of trying to make just music for making music's sake, let's rather take the time and go the Sisyphus route, and let's suffer and really try and write good music. Because if you're gonna just make generic music, like, what's the point?
Yeah.
And that's when we started writing You're Gone Now What. And like, if you look at the tracking for that song, and we shot the music video at that same mountain, just to wrap it
Bring
up.
it full circle.
Bring it full
yeah.
circle, where I had the revelation, bringing it back to shooting it there. And that whole process from writing the song to releasing the music video, I counted, was 140 days.
No way.
There was 140 days of not only that song, because we had a bunch of other things in the process, but that's how long that song took. So,
from idea to finish.
From idea and from rewriting. And we did probably, I think there's about 8 versions of that song that exists on this PC,
Yeah.
of different stuff that we had to come back and edit. So yeah, I think that's kind of the motivation is, if you can make music, let's make something super unique. Let's really try and give it our all.
And we have a couple of songs like that. And there's a fine line between overthinking and like working on a song till death.
Yeah, and just releasing.
Or like really believing in the song and like, no, we need to refine it until, because there is something there. We have a couple of songs like that on the album where we like looking back on it.
Looking back on it is the best example.
Took so long. It's like
Yeah.
a lot of reworks, a lot of rewriting the lyrics, like rewriting the beats, everything.
I think looking back on it took longer than You're Gone Mad. It's probably took longer. But yeah, the music video that we have in the idea for that is going to be very good. We just need a bigger budget, big budget for that one, but it's going to be really sick. But yeah, for example, looking back on it, I think we hated that song at the end of the day. We were like, we've been working on this for maybe what was like 15 weeks, in total on that song. Revisiting, it's like, we have another song, we play it, we record some stuff, and then we're like, okay, should we try looking back on it again? Like, fuck, okay, come on, yeah, we'll go back, we'll try it again. And then the last day we were like, you know what, let's just have the most fun we can with this song. And I think it really translates, because there's about 6 or 7 people that have gotten the opportunity at this stage to listen to the album with the expectation of getting some legit feedback, you being one of them. So and across the board, I think looking back on it is maybe the standout hit according to the people, because it's
which we didn't expect at all.
Yeah.
Which
Which one did you guys think were gonna be the
Well, You're
The
Gone Now. What was
slapper.
the obvious single
Yeah.
that we shot the music video for? That was the
And
first one where we were
worked
like,
hard,
"This
yeah.
song is fucking great. Like,
For sure.
we want something for this."
I'm not if, considering all the songs now. It kind of makes sense that looking back on it should be the standout one, or the one that we will pursue the hardest post release. But I think Rion said it best. Rion is shout out. Rion is
Yeah.
our
Beyond!
videographer, and he said to me, Altus, here's the thing. Your album is emo as fuck.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like, fair enough. It's like, even the happy songs are sad.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I kind of get where you're coming from. And he said, this is like the only song where we aren't emo, where we're
Yeah.
actually happy. And yeah, I think if you look at the story arch of the album, it makes sense why it's the middle track. It's like the halfway mark of the album, and it's like where the
It's
person or the
It's
character.
the climax. It's basically the climax.
Yeah, and after that, things don't get necessarily better, but things are better.
So
things are get better. Yeah,
I've got a really big question bomb to drop on you guys. But
let's go.
so how much? So your album is all about, fighting your demons, basically dealing with a lot of inner conflict and, moving either from it or dealing with it to a point. And how much of that inner struggle, that real emo between the
Yeah.
inverted commas, are from you two?
All of it.
Yes, but
100%.
exactly. So
It's all real.
So you guys actually are creating something that you are basically releasing out in the world for what reason?
For what reason?
Yeah.
For I think it's very easy. I think my personal reason is I want people to love it as much as I do. Straight up. Like, you might think you're the biggest fan or one of the biggest fans, but I think I'm the biggest fan because nobody has listened to that music more than me and Ian at
Yeah,
this
of course,
stage.
yes.
And I truly love it. I love our stuff. So like I really enjoy our music. So I want other people to share that experience, and it's a bit on the nose. Like,
Yeah.
the album is kind of begging you to go through this journey with us. You
Yeah.
know? So that's the second half of it, I would say, is the fandom.
Because you guys talk about straight from the beginning about the importance of having fans and
For
what is
sure.
a fan. And you mentioned the other day something about Kanye believing his
Yeah.
music is the best. He's the best in what he does.
You have
and,
to.
So, and calling something between a passion project to actually believing into what you're doing right now.
Mm-mm-mm.
So, in actually, what you guys are doing is throw your own personal emotions out there in the world for everyone to be able to judge. How do you guys feel about that?
What do you say? I think the lyrics, especially, that maybe has a bit more personal attachment to me, whereas I think our overall sound is mostly from Jalska's side, like how we are, So like a lot of emotion, I would say, does come from the sound effects that he puts in,
The
in the
atmosphere.
background. But to answer your question, no, that's all cool with me, man. I've yet to receive some hate comments, so.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm not
then
talking about that.
Then
It's
you've
because
made it, bro. If you've got some hate comments.
remember, you guys are actually taking some of your inner turmoil and struggle and releasing it out there in the world to roam. It's your little babies that can roam out into the world.
Yeah.
And it's not easy to do, okay? And even to be able to make music around that as well. I mean, like you guys just told me, it takes quite some time to release these things because for the average human being, it's not even easy to talk about these things.
Yeah.
And now, Far From Friends decided, you know what, we're gonna make music out of this.
I think I've got the answer for you. Like, it was kind of a thinking for me as well, where you think you're alone in this world, and the things that only I think these things. And then with time, I realized that it's not like that, like the things that I think a lot of people feel this way, and I think that's the album title has a couple of touching points, or no big deal has a couple of meanings, but I think one of the meanings for sure, no big deal, is that feeling of insecurity, of like, I don't really mean as much to the world as other people that are
I
more
am no
success.
big deal.
That's it. I'm no big deal. So kind of want to change that thinking,
Yeah.
but also acknowledging it is fine, and a lot of people has come to me afterwards or through the course of this project and been like, wow, your lyrics really resonate with me. Did you write it with me in mind? I'm like, no, not at all.
Who are you?
And like, for example, that You're Gone Now what is considered a breakup song, and it's like people that have gone through heartache have told me, fuck, this song meant so much to me, like, I'm like, great, but it's not really a breakup song.
Yeah.
Intended to be, but upon listening, I'm like, okay, yeah, it is a breakup song for sure.
But I think what I have to commend you guys on is you guys cleverly written these lyrics, and the music designed around it is actually what you perceive it as.
It's very up on the nose, I
Yeah,
guess.
what you perceive it as, because you can listen to Bear With Me and think it's lo-fi or bedroom or whatever you want, or you can listen to the lyrics of You're Gone Now What and think it's a breakup song, or it is a song about, you know what, I'm actually an introvert and I am out in the world and I'm trying to just actually fit in somewhere and I don't know where I can fit in. And at the end of the day, when I get home, I'm just so emotionally exhausted.
That's it.
Two people are listening to the same song and experiencing something different. And that's why I think the atmosphere of Jauska that he creates around the lyrics makes it almost like a Rorschach test.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes it whatever. That's why it's so relatable. That's why I think it's no big deal in the incense, because it's effortless for both of you to actually just express yourselves.
Nice. I like that. I like that view. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that is why it's so relatable. And that's why I also can understand why, the middle point of the album brings it back down, where you say it gets better from there, but not really.
Emos can have a good day.
Exactly.
That's where we decided as well. Yeah. For looking back on it, Emos can have a good day, and that song is all about a good day.
Yes.
Looking back on things like,
yeah, and like looking back on it, I mean, nostalgia, very on the nose. Again, like, our shit's not that deep, I think, but
Yeah.
it is quite deep, and there is quite a lot of Easter eggs that we hide throughout.
Yeah, because
the
I think
album as
the
well.
vocals, if I have to ask you guys about, with the little snippets that you guys put in from, what is a fan, the music dictionary, and you guys keep talking about that voice evolves. I've noticed that little voice starts with a fan and he talks about, inner conflict, turmoil, acceptance, and
Yeah.
all of that throughout the whole entire album.
Exactly.
I think that was cleverly written. I mean, that voice is almost like the voice in the back of your head.
Yeah.
Because I listened to the whole entire album, and that little snippets is kind of like that little voice at the back of my head talking to me as well. Which was that intentionally the idea of that little snippet?
well, it's
100%.
like
It's
a
basically brainwashing.
Yeah.
quasi
Quasi-brain.
album narration. Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
And shout out to Damien Keys, who that's the guy that we used. And if you are in a band and you're promoting your music online, Damien Keys. So
Yes.
it was also kind of a little inside joke for musicians as well. Like,
Yes.
you probably know this guy, you know his voice. We've all watched his videos, and I call him my guru.
Yeah.
Very positive mindset, and he helps me a lot with like determining your goals and not focusing on views and shit like that, and likes and plays. Yeah.
But the irony of the whole entire the situation is that voice evolves through the album, but it's almost Far From Friends. No big deal. The album itself is almost like listening to The Caretaker.
Oh wow, I get that.
Yes, it's almost like
I wouldn't.
listening.
The Caretaker, the 6 hour album. You mean?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's
The six
almost
hour
like a
Dementia album.
condensed.
That's a big. Well, great. Thanks.
Yes, no, well, that's how
I
I
love that
experience it
album.
because it's kind of like you're moving forward and backwards in time, basically, because the progress is not necessarily linear.
For sure, for sure.
And that's another factor which I found and that which I wanted to ask you guys about, where it was, it feels like in the Caretaker, like it's like deconstructing you as a human being with regards to the mental health you guys talk about in the album. But there's ups and downs and the waves it comes into as well. But is it intended with the fact where no big deal also means that, listen, this happens to us all?
I That's another way you can interpret it for sure. I think the first album title for us, and it's kind of breaking the fourth wall a bit, but No Big Deal was for us our completely ironic inside joke where we're like, hey, let's call it No Big Deal, even though it's a big fucking deal. Even though we know it really takes a lot of effort to
we
make
were
this thing.
actually like discussing an album title.
For long, yes.
And we were like, yeah, but like an album title is kind of a big deal, you know? And it's like,
That's
just make it no big deal.
Yeah.
Like this album title is no big deal, and then it should be no
Or
big
it can
deal.
be
And obviously,
super arrogant. You're like, we just made this masterpiece. No big deal. Everybody.
You can say it like that. And also, I think currently where we are in our journey, we are no big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Realistically, in the bigger sense of the spectrum, we're a little DIY emo duo currently. So the next, but I do think, yeah, the next album we'll have another vision. You know, we'll do another sound. But this is kind of all over the place. But one of the things that you're asking about in terms of the overall Easter eggs or messages of the album, I think definitely something that might not stand out as obviously, but it deals with the 5 stages of grief.
Yes.
That is
Yeah.
basically what the album is going through. So
And there's those little voices keep prompting those little progress of the grief
Yeah.
as well.
not all of it is supposed to be like the way that grief works is not like, okay, now you're angry, now you're bargaining. It's all sometimes a mix of it. So some of the album you can hear a bit more anger. That's where that comes from. And for example, the bargaining comes in like, can you help me to forget in
Yeah.
the beginning, in the first track. So
Yeah.
that was kind of wasn't a day one thing, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
with time, I was like, okay, that's kind of a cool angle to write with. Yeah, and Seasick is like very bargaining in that sense where
Also,
it's
you
like,
know, when
help
you're
me.
saying, I can't take back what I just said, realizing, oh no, okay, I'm halfway through the stage already.
Yeah, and it's regret, you know, regret and grief. It kind of goes hand in hand. All of these feelings, you know. Yeah, so there's quite a lot of things in it.
Talk to me about the modernization of emo, because what you guys have done is you've taken also Midwestern elements. You know, also very early, I hear, you know, if you think about Sunny Day Real Estate, all of those old 90s, 2010 emo guys, you know, Taking Back Sunday, modernize it with trap, drill beats and everything like that. How did you form that atmosphere around this heavy lyrics?
yeah, that was kind of, well, the process was like Altus had written a bunch of like Midwestern emo style riffs,
Yeah.
and it was just the way they flowed was perfect for some trap beats. You know? Like
I can just
yeah, no, it blended really well, and then also like blending the other different styles, like some older styles of pop punk mixing on there, some newer styles of trap, some older styles of trap. Like it's basically all over the place. The production is all over the place, and that's what I love about this album. Is like it's not staying in one place at all.
Yeah, it's almost like you're having a playlist of different songs and you're listening to the same album, because it's combining all of these elements that both influence you to both immensely. What I like to tell people is when I listen to the album is it's a perfect dance between Altus and Jauska.
Nice,
You can hear the influences, your influences and your influence. You can actually, if you know these individuals very well, you can hear how their influences are dancing together in the moonlight, if you wish.
That's beautiful. That's true.
But together, you guys are creating an album which feels like a playlist, and it's you still listening to the same
For
artist.
sure. There's definitely an overarching cohesion to it all. At least it's not super drastic jumps in between genres. I think it's at least a little bit curated like that. That it's
Yeah,
not.
it flows perfectly.
And yeah, hopefully, if you have a fan, the next thing we do, it doesn't matter what we do, they should be like, I like the pop punk song, for example, the most, but I don't want them to only make pop punk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm down for whatever they make. That's the idea, at least.
Do you guys think you have eliminated those people? For instance, remember how you listen to 2 or 3 albums from a band and then they try something different? Then they're like, oh, I used to like their earlier stuff because it sounded more like that. You guys eliminated that straight from the start.
True, yeah,
Yeah.
very true.
And
Yeah,
with future projects, it'll also be like we're gonna go all over the place
for
with
sure.
with everything. Like we'll do an acoustic EP, we'll do a heavy EP, we'll do a chill. Like
Definitely
you
want to
know.
do a hard song next. Like
Yeah.
that's definitely in the works. But in terms of the Midwest emo, like because this genre is technically already an established one, being 808 emo or emo with 808s, like Fatsy and 93 and Convoke and all these guys. Like when I listen to them, they also have the the acoustic emo guitar in it. And then I was like, okay, but what are we gonna do that's different or that's next to that? And I was like, okay, nobody has made Midwest 808
Yeah.
emo.
Yeah, because with the little math
so,
words and everything.
so yeah, we're
That's awesome.
we're going very granular when it comes to subgenres. We're in the subgenre section at this point, but I don't think like I am a big fan of Midwest emo, obviously, but if you listen to Midwest, it's very, very indie inspired, and not a lot of. I don't think anybody is actually doing specifically Midwest emo riffs plus.
But you guys are paying tribute to the artists that inspired the genre for you as well.
for sure. Like yeah, it's more 808 than Midwest, I would say for sure.
But if you think about it now, with what you have done with the music you've made, not only have you made your own genre, if you just think about it.
In theory,
In theory, in
we
theory,
did,
you
yes.
guys made your own genre, because if you listen to a 808 album, you listen to an 808 album. If you listen to a pop punk album, you listen to a pop punk album. But what you guys have done is you made a whole album with all of that in.
Exactly. I think it's also to find our strength. Where we make it best. Where we can make the best tunes. And it's also keeps it fun. Keeps it fun for sure.
Yeah.
Where would you
Interesting
guys
to make.
say? I'm sorry.
Just interesting to make. It keeps it. Yeah.
And that also keeps the artists, I mean, the fans also curious to what is next.
And it's kind of also trying to convert people. So if you're like I said, if you really love, we'll use pop punk for example. We've got that for you,
Yeah.
So if you can get somebody that loves pop punk into the gate, it's easier to then introduce them to more of the trap side or the drill side of it. Yeah.
What I predict for Far From Friends, and
What do you predict, Khan?
here's what I predict. Okay, so you hear me out. Okay, so I'm gonna name 2 bands that I really feel is almost similar to the direction where you guys are going. So hear me out 1 second. So I've got AFI and Bring Me the Horizon, right? So Bring Me the Horizon started with like core, like deathcore, right in the first album.
Country
right?
Blessings.
Yeah, it's right up there, right? And then they actually collabed with a bunch of dubstep people before dubstep even really existed. They have had Knife Party and Skrillex all up on their Cut Up album. After that, they started introducing a little bit more vocals, with There Is a Hell, Believe Me, I've Seen It. So a little bit more clean vocals were introduced. Sempiternal was right in the middle of the breaking point between clean vocals and heavy vocals, right in there. So on, they progressed to That's the Spirit, and from there on now to Ammo, which is only clean vocals now. So now you've got this spectrum of what they can do. But now you've got what they've done is they've eliminated certain fans because the deathcore album fans are like, Count Your Blessings is the only Bring Me Horizon album that exists.
That's like me, yeah.
Exactly.
I'm one of those.
And then
people.
there's the people who think
That's it.
Sempiternal was their opus magnus,
Yeah, I think I tapped out at Sempiternal.
Yes. And so now things like Ammo and That's the Spirit can't be taken in retrospect, which I think it's brilliant because they've made a pop album and they're competing with pop and they've made it in pop. And now their fan base, the core fan base and the Sempiternal fan base are lost now. The rest of the Bring Me Horizon doesn't exist. Same with AFI. What they've done is they started super, super, super punk. And they went like super emo to a point. So they went from the punk side to emo. But what Davey Havoc then did was he created sub-bands. For instance, he went into Black Audio, which is almost like a Depeche Mode band with Jade Puget. And then he went with the guys from No Doubt. He started Dreamcar, which is an 80s revival band. Nice. And then he started a super, super punk band called Extremist. So now he's taking all of those factions and he's created different bands instead of different albums. Yeah. So what I'm projecting for Far From Friends, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys have eliminated all of that admin.
I think so.
In one album.
We already did the last. The last.
So now you can't lose fans because you can keep your fans forever intrigued. So that's my prediction for what you guys have done. And I don't know if you guys intentionally done this because like you said, you tapped out at Sempiternal. A lot of people only know AFI but don't really care about Davey Havoc's other projects. A lot of people only listen to Dreamcar or Black Audio. But what you guys have done is you've created people a constant curiosity. What is next? So you've eliminated all of this. All of your skills are presented in one album.
Yeah, I think we'll probably not do another album for a very long time, at least 2 years, I think. But what we've kind of done now is set ourselves up to make an acoustic EP or to make a fully 808 EP. I think that's our next plan and singles obviously and a bunch of features. That's also the next thing. Just doing a lot of features to get into the scene more. But EPs for sure. If you instead of us making 10 songs that's just 808 emo, we can just make 4 of them and that would be its place.
Leave it in a little niche for those people who enjoy those.
But definitely probably going a little bit more into hyperpop direction for sure. And like I also had this idea where we take it back to 2012 again, where we go like hardcore, like what, dubstep, like
I don't know if that's a genre
bring it back, dude. Like maybe one song, just like you said, just to keep people on the toes. Just to keep people on their toes for sure. Like, wow, did they just fucking release a hardcore dubstep song with a gabba break at the end, doop, 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 doop. Yes. Like that's the thing. We can technically do that if we feel like it that day, But I don't think we are gonna move away from emo because that's kind of our niche right now, and
it's the core of everything.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, even if it's a hardcore rave song, it's still probably gonna be an emo hardcore rave song.
Okay, so recently some guy, forced you guys to play a show. Okay. Like, I don't know who that is, but you guys were forced to like perform live for the first time.
We weren't forced.
You guys were politely manipulated.
we were looking to play a gig initially, and yes, we were we were asked.
Okay. So explain to me, how was it like to actually take all of these songs with this amazing atmosphere and reduce it to acoustic? Was that already done prior?
No.
No.
So now all of a sudden we have our first gig. You have to convert it. So what was the process with like throwing you guys into the deep end like that?
Yeah, what do you say, Ian?
I think Altus was a bit over eager at first.
For sure.
He-
wanted to destroy that place.
he was very excited
Yeah.
and came with all these big ideas, and I think I just
Mm,
toned it down a notch and said, like,
yeah.
in order for us, a duo, just two people, to perform that production,
Mm,
that can't be done in the space of time that we
yeah.
had to prepare for the show.
And the venue was not necessarily perfectly fit for that.
Exactly.
full-
The
full
lineup
band,
was
yeah.
also pretty much acoustic, so
Yeah.
it just matched. So I suggested, like, let's just rework some of our songs into an unplugged version.
Easy.
Came out pretty cool,
Yeah.
I think. I
Yeah.
didn't do much. I just played bass.
Still.
but
Um,
Altus was definitely the main attraction for that. But like, I think it sounded cool.
I think it was very fun. But no, like I tell Ian all the time, if it wasn't for him, I would just be making wrong choices all the time. That's the
Just
that's
steering
the
this band
truth.
into the wrong
If
direction.
it was up to me, You're Gone Now what would still be 7 minutes long. You know what I mean? He was the one say,
Tone it down
this
a bit.
riff, I know it's a good riff, but let's cut it back, let's make it more palatable. And still people on fucking Submit Up would tell me the intro is too long. Bro,
Yeah.
the intro is 30 seconds,
Just calm
but
down.
relax. It's the first track on the album, relax. I know 30 seconds is 2 videos right now. But anyway, so no, we had a lot of fun, but he came with, like I said again, the correct mindset where I wanted to go and destroy that place,
Yeah, you
with
just wanna go
full on
full flat
bass,
out.
like crazy set, hype up, like jump on the tables, go crazy, really release the beast.
Mm.
And Ian said, who else is
Let's
playing?
just ease
First
into
of
the
all,
waters,
it's like,
yeah.
okay, there's 2 acoustic acts, so that's not going to work. And yeah, like you said, in terms of us to actually get it onto Ableton Live and to actually work out the set is going to take a while. So, but next time we'll do that for sure. I don't think we'll play an acoustic set soon again, but now we do have it. That's
Yeah,
the
but
thing. In
the
case we
plaster
need
is
to-
ripped off now. You guys played a show. How do you guys feel after that show? Playing actually live for where seeing your fans, it like resonating with the music. And it's not like in the studio you guys release people WhatsApping you their feedback. Now you're actually seeing a live response to the music. How did that feel?
Great.
Yeah, that was great. It was unexpected. It was a really well received. Like,
I was also kind of not expecting the people to shout that loud, to be honest, in that sense. But no, I think that was one of the last pieces of the puzzle that we were lacking. After the album was done, now we were like, okay, now what are we gonna do? And it's live shows. Live shows are for sure like the best way to get that magic, to translate into people, even though I'm very cynical, obviously. So I would still think back on the gig and be like, yeah, but they didn't see me fuck up there and there and there. I remember these things, but
people don't know.
people don't know. And
They
they
don't know Farm and Friends acoustic.
and it's never been done, but it's still, I thought it was a good gig, first of all, but I'm really looking forward to the real setup, which would be ideally no guitar for me.
But also, you guys speculated. You guys also speculated how it will be received, and I mean, you can forever speculate until you actually play it in front of people. And after playing in front of people, did that also awaken a different spirit with regards to the band for you guys?
I think so. New breath of fresh air. Somebody came to me afterwards and said, like, I've heard your music, but now I'm a fan. And
Wow,
that's what
now only.
now I get it. Now
Wow,
I can
awesome.
see it. So, and this is a good friend of mine, and this person didn't want to just love the music because I'm in the band, and I'm like, perfect, that's great. I don't want you to just oh, I know this guy, so I automatically like his music. No, that's not how you get a real fan.
Yeah.
That person actually went through the right process of being like, I know you, so because I'm personally, invested in your friendship or whatever, I don't want to necessarily love your music
Yeah, of course.
blindly. But this person's like, okay, now I'm driving home. Now I'm listening to music, now I'm actually like into it. And yeah, I don't think that would have happened if they don't see us perform live. But yeah, next time we're going to bring out the bass, the big bass. And I want no guitar. Yeah, I want to be able to move around and into the crowd and, really perform. That's the thing, not make music. So that's, I guess, my only tip to other bands is I see a lot of bands, and no shade to anyone, but like they're just playing the music.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, your music is
living it.
cool, and I hear it, but you're on stage because you're performing. You're
Yeah.
not there to make music. You're making music, but you're there to perform.
Yes.
So hopefully we keep on doing that. And yeah, one of the things I want to also mention is like, a rising ship raises all sails.
Yeah, nice.
Raises all ships. I fucked it up. A rising tide raises all ships. So that's why we love collaborations. Collaborating with other artists. Because if they do well, we'll do well, and if we do well, they will also inevitably do well. And yeah, that's so the community is very important for me.
Well, I personally feel, and you guys might not think this, but I personally feel you guys created a community that didn't exist prior.
True, a little niche one.
Yes, but I didn't think that community would have existed if people like you guys didn't reach out.
Quite possibly. I think we're in a little collective where it's basically us and Diluted and my bro Bad Atlas. Shout out Bad Atlas
Yeah.
from Canada, and we've got a Blast Bar that's also featuring on the album, another Canadian bro of us that's also been there from the start, from the moment we created the Instagram. So I've made some friends, which is quite nice. And yeah, we've got a song out with Bad Atlas on 24th June called Ride Off. I'm plugging, always be plugging.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that.
That
one.
song
Yeah.
is going to be really good. I think all three of us are super, super stoked on that one because, like, I love Bad Atlas. His music is great, but I think this one is going to be a
And
real
Diluted also
slapper.
did vocals on Heart Shaped Void for you
He
guys
did
as well.
vocals on Hardship Void, yeah, which came out great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very fun post-punk track, that one, yeah.
But also brings it back to what you guys believed as being a fan, because if you weren't fans of their music,
For sure.
you wouldn't have wanted them to collab. If they weren't fans of your music,
Yeah.
they wouldn't have wanted to reach out either. So what is the view of a fan in each of individual of your eyes? What is the importance of a fan for you two?
The importance.
The importance of having fans or having at least one fan.
I think Jalska won't admit it, but he's probably got a lot more fans than me because people that are listening or watching on the video might not know that he's quite famous in South Africa on TikTok. He gets recognized quite a lot as the guy that does the metal TikToks and the drum and bass viral sensation, I Fear Focal, which I still think is amazing.
Yes.
So I don't know. For me, fans is everything. Fans is like if you make an album, let's say you make 10 songs, and you got 5 fans, why are you gonna make a new album? What's gonna drive you to push that further? That's my thinking. Like seeing the love and the people that are really resonating with it. It makes it all the more worth it to be like, okay, let's go back in studio, let's write a new song, let's keep this shit going. It's even if it's 50 people that really love love our shit, it's great. It's more than enough for me.
I completely agree with that. I think just fans are there for you to, like, who are you making it for?
Yeah.
Like if I I can make music for myself. Like it's
But
very
you're not
easy.
necessarily gonna
I'll just make it and fucking delete it. Like nobody will ever hear.
Yeah.
So
what's the
fans drive what's like what what we want to make, the style we're gonna like. We obviously are making it for people, and it's the same like with TikTok. Like I wouldn't be making these stupid TikToks if people didn't like them. Like
if people weren't literally begging.
yeah, like
Yo, we need
Part
a full
4,
version
part
of
5,
this thing.
part 6, please. You know,
Yeah,
it's good, but
exactly.
that's
yeah,
why I keep making TikToks.
For
is
sure.
People keep asking me.
People love it,
People
dude.
want them, and I like to, you know.
Yeah,
like
keep
to
the
get it.
fans happy, bro.
Yeah.
I think the very, very last step of this thing is obviously merchandise, you know, and that's the obvious thing. If like, but who's gonna buy your merchandise? Fans. Well, you know, that's the only. And this is what Damien Keys taught me. You know, this is not something that I randomly figured out, but it makes sense. Like, your point of making fans is in order them to love your shit so much that they're willing to actually go like, hey, you've got an album on Amazon. I know I can stream it for free, but I want to buy it. I want to
Exactly.
support you guys. And it's like, wow, that's really cool. Like,
I want to have something.
and
you
like,
know?
for example, as well, touring, you know, if nobody fucks with your shit, like, how are you going to go like, okay, let's go to Cape Town and play 3 shows there? You know what I mean?
Who's gonna go?
Who's gonna go? You
Yeah.
need people to actually go like, yeah, I'm on board. I'm with you guys.
But also, you resonate from the fans as well, because without the fans, it's almost like a Batman Joker type thing. You know, both need each other. You know, both need each other to coexist.
It's like you said, yeah, we can make music, but if we don't put it out into the world, it's just like and throwing it into the void. You know, like what's the point? So at least got to try and get people to really love it. And yeah, I think people are too nice. You know, they're always like, I don't want people to go like, yeah, I love your stuff just because I want to be nice. You know, you can see through that as an artist. You know, you want people to go like, oh fuck, you blew my mind. That's what I love.
Also,
love it.
someone to be able to be honest and tell you, listen, I didn't like this
Yeah,
because of
exactly.
this. You know,
Even
and be
Rion,
open to that.
even Rion, shout out to Rion. He still doesn't like our music. He only likes not looking back on it. but that's cool. I'd rather have him, you know, he's like,
honest.
bro, your music's too emo for me. That's cool. That's all good. And like if we made music that everybody loved, that every single person loved, then I would stop making it. Then I'd be like, we're clearly doing something wrong, because if everybody fucks with it, like, what's the point? You know, we're kind of making niche music for a niche audience, especially like millennials. But I think the Gen Z crowd we've got them in mind as
Yeah.
well.
Trying to find that balance.
To find that balance
without
but-
actually losing either or. But do you guys think your success in what you've made thus far is because you guys are a duo, and there isn't so much external influence in the band as well?
I think it's hard enough for me and him to agree on everything, which is impossible, you know. So imagine if we had 2 more people, then what the fuck? Then it's very easy. I think most bands like that, they delegate it to like, okay, you make all the decisions. I'm happy with that. I'm just gonna make the music. Whereas we are very heavily invested in every sense of this project. Like that's why we had 4 or 5 artworks, because we could never go, okay, this
I can
is
feel the love
perfect.
that you guys have for the band. That's what I'm asking you. I can feel you guys are both equally as invested. Versus in most bands, okay, the lead singer writes the music, and then the rest of the band basically just become, between inverted commas, session music.
Exactly, and that's not us for sure. Especially, I think I obviously write most of the lyrics, but it's not like, oh, I just write the lyrics and Ian doesn't have any input. No ways. Like everything is collaborative. Every single thing. Even though I don't necessarily adjust the effect, I'll tell him, fucking make it more wet, or you know, that sounded inappropriate, but you know, but so it's like I think the most fun that we do have, especially with lyric writing, is sometimes the lyrics like just really, while he's making the drums, I sit and write the lyrics and it's coming to me. We're not always that lucky. Sometimes it doesn't happen. So we'll literally sit outside and go, like lyric for line, back and forth like this. And that's why I think the lyrics get really interesting, where we fine tune it. Like we'll say, okay, we'll say something, and then we'll go like, okay, we have said that before, but now things are different, so now we're changing it. It gets very deep. I think the lyric writing gets fun when we collab,
polish everything
when we
off,
collab like that. And for example, looking back on
Almost
it,
like that scene in Ghost where they both make the same
Ex-
play piece
exactly.
together.
I think we are exactly on the same page. It took a while. It's going to take a while for everybody. But especially on looking back on it, like we had a verse there, and I was listening to it, and I was like, something's wrong, and it's definitely this verse. It's definitely this verse is not working. And then the next time I came back to studio, Jaska's like, you know what? I don't think this verse is working, without me having said anything. He's like, this verse isn't working. I wrote a new verse. Let's try it out. I sang it. I sang it. It worked immediately. It was immediately perfect. And like that's why I think the collab really comes in, where when you think you're done, when when the hard choices have to be made. That's where Ian is really good. Like, shit, we need to do this line over. You fumbled on the word, or that's fine tuning. It's
Because
very
that's what I'm
important.
saying. I can really feel you guys both equally love this as much as you can. And I can feel that. That's why I keep telling people it's a dance between you two. I can hear that. I can hear the love and every single element. I can hear one person's weak points is compensating for someone else's strong points and,
For sure.
vice versa,
definitely.
which is amazing.
I think he's better at like song structures, for example. Like I just want to make it 10 minutes long. I don't care. He'll be like, okay, we'll cut this chorus. Making the tough calls. That's good. It's good to know. Like I said in the earlier, I would be making all the wrong choices
Yes,
all the time.
steering
I
the
would
wrong
be
direction.
choosing. I would still have the wrong lyrics, because sometimes as an artist you're like, I spent time on this riff and this lyrics, so I'm gonna keep it. But he's got that iron. You've got that.
Well, I
can-
think we
Yeah,
trust each other when it comes
That's
to
important.
music.
For
That's
sure.
like I don't like we bring like an equal balance of like melody and lyrics and like engineering and beats and stuff, and then
Yeah.
we meet in the middle and polish everything off, and that's like a combination of both. Then he gets involved with production, I get involved with lyrics.
Yeah.
Then it really blends in the
Yeah.
polishing off.
Like I'm
Yeah.
learning the production side now as well, so that I could
You guys
be
can
more able to-
streamline
more
with future
streamlined. But
projects.
I would probably never fully produce. I don't want to make any beats. He's really good at that. He can just click and we'll have a fucking crazy drum roll there.
Yeah.
Like it would take me
But
way too
you
long.
just want to be able to, with technology today, you want to be able to send him stuff and without actually being around here the whole time, and being able to keep doing what you're doing with technology in mind, being able to, all right, I'm going to quickly send you these bikes, see what you can do with it,
For
move on
sure.
from that as well.
And I want to send it to him not sounding like absolute shit. I want to be able to master it.
and do something with it.
Yeah, getting there. So I think we're going to try and streamline it like that. But like in the studio where we are right now, this is where the magic happens. Like, and I think that's where we really started. Was we the very first song we did was "Hurting Is Part of Caring," which again, plugging. It's been reimagined now on the album as an acoustic version. But we did that song in a day, in one full day.
Yeah.
And
It's because it's been out there for quite some time. You guys know the song, ins and outs of that song so much, and being able to reimagine it.
yeah, but the actual original song we did in a day.
Oh,
Yeah, and it was our first, and it was the first time that we made music. That's the thing. So we came into studio, and we had the lyrics written for Handshakes or for Strangers, but Ian said, let's make something fresh. Let's try and make a new song, from scratch. So I wrote the
You
chords.
just played some guitar.
Yeah, I wrote
like,
the
I'll add
lyrics.
That's
some-
amazing.
And after that day, I was like, oh shit. First of all, so much fun. It's really so much fun being able to walk out of the studio with an actual song. Now it takes us longer because we scrutinize it more.
Yeah.
But because
Wanna just tweak a
yeah,
little
it
bit here
takes
and there.
now it's no longer one day. It
Yeah.
takes weeks for
No,
us to
we'll
actually
we'll never finish a song in one day.
Not
now.
again.
No.
But that was just to explain, like the magic was definitely there from the start. We're like, fuck, it's while he was producing, the lyrics came to me, I was writing it down, then we record the vocals. And yeah, we're trying to not do. I'm trying to get better at vocals, obviously, so that we don't use as much auto tune, which we'll probably use auto tune. That's fine. It's industry standard, but not that it's not that obvious. That it's.
And sometimes it won't be like, it'll be pitched vocals. It'll be
Yeah.
like robot vocals. It's like,
Exactly. It's just part of whatever the song craves for.
That's what the song is going for. Yeah, for sure.
So in closing, I'm gonna ask both of you to the same question, and you can voice the question to whoever you want to. Okay. So if you guys have any advice for anyone, you can say if who you want to give the advice to is for a person or whatever, or if you just want to generalize it. Future musicians or just for anyone out in the world, what would it be? So I'm gonna start with you, Jaska. And then
Advice for
For
about
anyone.
music or about
anything,
anything.
any advice, any advice. I'm leaving it open. It's an open-ended
Nice. What's
question.
your
So if you have
advice,
any
Jaska?
advice for anyone, what would it be?
it's really, I'm not good at being put on the spot.
I'll look away.
I think for general life advice, it would just be to do what you love, and yeah, just like keep striving to do what you love.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good message.
That is a good message.
Uh,
I feel a lot of people have forgotten about that
yeah, figure out what makes you happy and
and just gonna.
try.
Even
and
if your
do for
job
that.
sucks, just like do
Other
something
things.
else that you love. Like
That's
just
good.
do something
Around
you
the
love.
globe.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if it's again gaming or even if you're not everybody is artists, not
Exactly, even
everybody
if you like
wants to
jogging.
create. Yeah, jogging, whatever is your. I think Tyler said that in the new album. Whatever your passion or your do that.
Your happy place.
Yeah.
Just try and work at your happy place.
And I think my advice would be realize that you've literally only got one life, so try and make it the best. Try and really push yourself to extreme happiness. Like even for you. So for the listeners that don't know, this will be the last Carlisle podcast in South Africa, at least. So yeah, for you as well. I mean, Carl is going to set his journey into motion, bro.
exactly. Yeah.
So I think that's very inspiring as well. Like fucking like saying screw everything. I'm gonna gun for what I think is the best choice to make you happy, dude. So yeah, thanks for having us.
No, thank you
On
very
the
much for
last-
coming to my podcast, guys. I
We've
really
always
appreciate
been
it.
huge fans, obviously.
And likewise. And I think this is probably have been one of my favorite because I've told people, and this is probably one of my favorite podcasts and I tell this to every single person that I podcast because every single one is different.
Yeah.
But what I like about doing this is a lot of people are fans of somewhere, like let's say Korn or Slipknot, all of those big bands out there, which is not, there's nothing wrong with that. But I've taken my focus down to, I'm fans of Far From Friends. This is the band I'm emotionally investing because they resonate with me. I get to have a podcast with my favorite band, and I think we're also brainwashed into thinking, oh, all of our heroes are out there in the world, all of these people that is world famous, and we don't look what is around us. There are so many artists in today's age around you that does things that you like and that you love. And you can actually get to a point to collab with these people or actually, talk to them and actually get to what you're saying to do something that you love and, from someone that you are a big fan of.
I think for us personally, and it's definitely going to be Internet Girl for
Yeah.
us. I think he introduced me to Internet Girl about 8 or 9 months ago, and I was like, how have I never heard of this band?
Yeah.
And I am a huge fan of them. So
Shout out Internet Girl.
shout out Internet Girl.
We're all
Uh,
big fans. by
we're
the
all
way.
big fans, and I say that with the the most honesty I can. Like I really I love their tunes, and when I heard their music, I was like, okay, they've set the bar. They've
Yeah.
set the bar high. So I think for me, if we could do a collab with them, that'd be sick.
So, Far From Friends, depending on when we're going to release this album or release this podcast, it's either going to be out or not be out by then, but no big deal. Please, anyone listening,
1
anyone
July.
listening, it's probably by far a personal masterpiece. And I would just like to thank you guys again for being on board and stay happy and stay inspired. Thank you for listening.